Hi, welcome to Good Samaritan Spotlight. I'm the host today, Adam Thacker, President and Chief Administrative Officer at Good Samaritan. Excited to be joined with Heather McKinley, Pharmacy Supervisor, and talking about an event now in its third year here at Good Samaritan that has such an impact on the community and really led by you and the pharmacy team, the DEA Take Back. So talk a little bit about the last couple of years as we started this or got on board with the national initiative, and also just what is the event.
Okay, thanks for having me, first of all. So this is our third year in having the drug take back. This is kind of Good Samaritan Hospital's version of it, like you alluded. The first year that we had it, we collected a little over 63 pounds of medications that we took back. Last year it was almost 104 pounds, so I feel like really successful. We really appreciate the community's support in that. So basically it is just what it says. We take back medications that are outdated, outwanted, not being used anymore, and we dispose of those in a responsible manner. So our efforts are that we sponsor it on April 23rd from 2 to 5 p.m. It will be kind of a drive-through take back, just like we've had in past years. You don't even have to get out of your vehicle. So if you have some kind of mobility issue, we can bring the receptacle to you. But there will be a path kind of coming in from the 6th Street exit entrance to the hospital. So the old entrance to the hospital, you come in under the canopy, and we can bring the receptacle to you. You can stay in your vehicle to dispose of those.
So truly making it easy to do a very responsible thing. Jumping back just quickly, last year over 100 pounds collected of unused, outdated medications that otherwise may end up in someone else's hands that doesn't have that prescription, or heaven forbid, flush down the toilet in the water system. That's obviously one of our concerns. But medications do not weigh very much, so 100 pounds, that's a large amount, and we know there's more out there because of the use of pharmaceuticals. So really tremendous. As far as, make it easy, drive through, drop it off, anonymous, correct?
Absolutely, yes. And that was some concern and questions that we had from last year was it's a no judgment zone. When you pull in, like I mentioned, you can be the ones putting those medications in the receptacles we have, or you can give them to us or put them in a Walmart bag and seal it and throw it in the receptacle, but we do not retrieve them out of that box. Once it goes in there and the box gets filled, we seal it and ship it back to the DEA according to their specifications. So we don't ever see names, we don't ever see medications. It is truly anonymous.
Excellent. So I know we've touched on it a little bit, but community impact of this type of event and why it 15 years ago became a national event. So talk a little bit about why this is so important and why people should take the time to show up on the 23rd.
Yeah. So I think the main thing that I find a benefit of is that we are a farming community, and so farmers right now are getting ready to put their crops out, and if you are disposing of these medications either in the trash, which eventually end up in the landfill, or if you're flushing them down the toilet or down the drain, they end up in our water supply. So those things end up in our soil, in our water supply, and then we're irrigating crops, or we are planting gardens, and like I said, we are a farm community. So those things end up in our soil and our water supply when we really don't want that in our food.
Right.
So.
And the environmental impact's very clear. Talk a little bit about the safety element also of many of the prescription medications that could be controlled substances, and maybe the risk from abuse or ending up in the wrong hands.
Sure. So as you alluded, many times prescriptions can be discontinued or the strength is changed. You switch to another medication in that drug class. So if your medications have been changed, you certainly don't want to be double dosing and taking the old dose and the new dose or getting those interchanged. So it's a good idea to just keep the new up front and get rid of the old. And then whether that's a narcotic or a controlled substance or not, it could be a blood pressure medication, something used for diabetes. But certainly if it is a controlled substance, there's kind of an added level, I guess, of need of getting rid of that. People have children or grandchildren in their home that you don't want them getting their hands on those prescriptions. Plus there is an element where it could just be opening up to diversion with controlled substances. And we don't want those in the hands of people that they were not intended for or prescribed for.
Okay, well, other aspects of the event we have signage out by the road, and I know you mentioned coming through on 6th Street, again, making it easy, drop it off, just drive through, but other pieces of the event that we need to communicate to our community?
Yeah, so we will continue with the same format that we've had the past 2 years, where the entrance is into the parking lot off of the 6th Street entrance, and there will be signs and cones set up just kind of to show you the driving path. You'll end up under the canopy, so if there is rain or any kind of weather, we won't have to change our event. And like I said, it's basically a drive-through, so you don't even have to get out of your vehicle unless you want to. We can bring the receptacle to you. You put it in the receptacle, and then you just drive on out and continue to follow the cones, then back onto 6th Street to exit. So it takes just a few minutes of your time, but the benefit of it is spring. It's a good idea to clean out your cabinets. While you're doing other spring cleaning, just go ahead and get rid of those medications that are no longer being used, outdated, or unwanted.
Yeah. So it might be worth mentioning, we talked about this is the safe disposal of medications. What do we do with them? I mean, we're not bringing them inside and dumping them down the toilet. That would obviously be counterproductive. But where do they go after we collect the 100+ pounds of unused medications?
Yeah. So we currently have a system set up, and it is located in our waiting room of the hospital pharmacy, where once those medications get disposed of and put in that receptacle, then it closes back up to where no one can access it. And that's called an NMAR box, okay? So we contract with the company of NMAR, which takes medications back through, and that is also through the DEA. So all of these medications get shipped back according to their specifications, and then they dispose of them. But again, it's sealed containers, and no human is getting into those.
So DEA certified, we have a partner that they'll dispose of the medications appropriately, and that can be incineration or other mechanisms, but keeps it out of the impacting the environment, especially here locally.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else that we want to communicate?
I appreciate the support of the hospital and the administration just in supporting this event, because it does come with some costs to the hospital, but it is a free event for the community, and I do feel like it is beneficial to get rid of those medications.
Absolutely. Well, certainly well worth it. Safety, good for the community. Appreciate your leadership in setting this up a couple years ago, and you've done such a good job that you've gotten to keep that responsibility.
Yeah, that's right.
Now going into our third year, really ask the community to engage, and we want to beat that 104 pounds because we know that's out there. So in closing, April 23rd, 2 to 5 p.m., 6th Street Canopy. You'll have t-shirts on, there'll be signage, get people in the right place. we'll post information as the day gets closer as well on our different social media posts.
Yep.
All right, well, Heather, thank you. And thank you, everyone, for watching Good Samaritan Spotlight.